So we'll do the ones that we can do in Desmos, but of the any others, which ones do we want to see, go over, have questions about? See a lot of 1s and 3s, which both of those can't be done in Desmos. 2 can be done in Desmos, as can 4 and 5, so we'll do those. Right. For number 1, is the following mapping a function? So remember, if you're repeating x's or if one x goes to multiple y's, it's not a function. So is this a function? Yes. Each x value has only one y value. Now there are multiple y values, but that's okay. So yes. We'll come back to number 2, do that in Desmos here in a second. For number 3, domain of the following ordered pairs. Domain is your x's or your y's? X's. So least to greatest, you're going to put in all of your x's without any repeats. What would that order look like?
1, 0, 2, 5. 0, 2, 3, 5.
There we go. -1, 0, 2, 3, 5. That's it. Okay. 2 could be solved in Desmos. So type it in all together, 8x minus parentheses 6x minus 4 equals 10, and we get 3. So x equals 3 was your answer for that one? Now the next one, solve for y. You're going to get a line. You could either do this algebraically or use Desmos. So if we were solving for y, you would have to know what your y-intercept is, what your slope is. So y-intercept is at -4. It looks like our slope is up 2 to the right 3. So if I type that in, they should overlap. So that would be your equation for number 4. And then 5, you can graph one of 2 ways. If I put this in, 2x plus 3y equals 6. You can graph by your x and y intercepts. You can count your slope and keep going like that and plot as many points as possible. I think on your answer sheet you have a graph. Other questions on that? Okay, so we are going to quickly go through the SOL A1. Before that, though, make sure this is the right thing. I'm going to tell you the next ones that will be due next Thursday, because I don't see you Friday. So SOL A2A, 2B, and 2C will all be due next Thursday. So make sure you get those done, work on those, try to use Desmos as best as possible with those. Come see me with any questions you have in class today, before or after school. Alright, so I'm going to go through each of the answers. Make sure you write down at least the answers. You can go back and watch the video to see the actual work. If you have questions on any of these, let me know. So number 1 was 7. Number 2 was -7. Do you need one of these? Hold on. Anyone else need one of these before I forget? 3 was 576. 4 was 33. 5, negative 19. 6, negative 28. 7, negative 10. 8, 13. So you could have either done those by hand, put them in your calculator, put them in a Desmos. However, the goal is just to try to recognize things that we've talked about in the past, get you solving these things so when you see them on the SOL, you're more prepared. Questions on those 8? Now, does anyone need or want to see any of those in Desmos or the calculator? In Desmos or the calculator? Okay. So we have parentheses. Y is 3. And then we have the cube root. So you can do one of two things. Type in CBRT. Or go into functions. Okay. I think it's all the way across this one. And put in the 3. Either or. And then the cube root of 512. If you want to put the cube root in parentheses, you can do that. You don't have to do that. And then all of that is being squared. Any others we want to see in the calculator and Desmos of those 8? Nine, the phrase that translates was D. 5 less than 1/4 times the cube root of x. 10 was the quotient of, or dividing the square root of x in your numerator and then 5 in your denominator. 11 was the cube root of x times y underneath and then minus 12 outside of it. Now 12, I did extra work because it didn't ask you for all this, it just wanted you to translate it. So the translation would have been the sum of, so we're adding 2 things, the square root of 16 and the product of 4 and the cube root of 8. So this would be your final answer. I just took it a step further because they're all numbers. Square root of 16, if we were evaluating, this would be 4. The cube root of 8 is 2. Multiply and add, we would get 12. But again, it didn't ask for that. That was extra. Yes.
Could the explain to me inside the parentheses or that long?
This one.
13, yeah.
The parentheses are not necessary. So you could either write it like this. Yeah. Or write it like that. Or write it with the dot. What you can't do is put 4x in parentheses and then the cube. The cube. That would be 2 different things. So any of those. Questions on those? Translating things are not things you can put into Desmos. You have to know how those work, what those words are, and things like that. Unless it says evaluate, which it didn't, but I just did that. 14 on the back, 16 divided by the sum of a number and 4 is 9, so 16 divided by some number plus 4 equals 9. For 15 is like 2 parts. Amy is 4 years older than Jose, so if we knew how old Jose was and we added 4 to it, we would get Amy's age. But then we also know together their ages add up to 100. So you could either say Amy's age or equation plus Jose's equals 100, or combine like this. Questions on either of those two before we talk about 16, 17?
It says 4 plus 2j equals 100.
Yeah.
Oh, wait there.
And then 16 and 17 were translate into verbal, so I think I put like the most words possible. If you could shorten it, that's fine. So 5 times the cube root of the product of 4 and x. If you wanted to say 5 times the cube root of 4 times x, that'd be fine. And so the cube root of this. And x subtracted by or minus. If you said less than, that would have to go in front. The square root of y.
Wait, what's this? You shortened it? What's the short version?
5 times the cube root of 4 times x minus the square root of y. That would be the shortened version. Anyone have it a different method that they want to say so I can check? And then 17, you could have also said differently. I have the sum of y and the cube root of x. You could say y plus the cube root of x. So SOL 2A we've talked about. 2B we haven't talked about yet, but you can still try it, put it in Desmos, see if you get answers. And then same thing with SOL 2C, we haven't talked about that yet, but still try it, put it in, see if you get answers. Alright, so for today's flex day, those of you who said you wanted to retake the Unit 7 tests, you guys still have that. You can work on retake work. If I still have your other retake stuff, I'm going to pass those out. If you are missing Khan Academy, I'm going to talk to those of you. I may be calling some of you up to talk about grades, or may not, it depends on grades. And then, if you're not missing Khan Academy, not working on retake stuff, you have a couple options. You can either work on your SOL A2 through C, or you can choose activities at this table to work on.